everyone, welcome to another episode of Dear Dietitian, where you ask questions and we answer them, and we'll get straight into it.
How often would you weigh a client for weight loss, and if so, what other markers would you use, like skin folds, waist, etc.? So just generally for weight loss, I would weigh a client every time I see them, I guess, because I'm not seeing them weekly, daily, or any of those types of things. So for the majority of clients...
You can still weigh someone weekly.
Oh yeah, but I'd still do that, but I don't generally see clients on a weekly.
In private clients,
Absolutely.
where they have to pay for every session.
Absolutely. So fortnightly probably would be the shortest time frame that I would see someone, and I would always weigh them, particularly if their goal is weight loss. That's what they're here for. So, and also the consistency is really important. So I have a lot of clients that come in and they say, oh, at home, butt naked after I went to the toilet when I first woke up in the morning. I'm like, fine, but I've always weighed you at the same time. And that consistency is just really important to use the same scales, all this sort of stuff. So yes, I would weigh them every time I see them.
Often our scales are much better than their ones at home.
Yeah, they're calibrated and they're not, on uneven surfaces and all that jazz. Do I take any other markers and measurements? Yep, definitely. I always take a waist circumference, like 100% for my weight loss clients, whether they're male or female.
If you do not know how to take a waist, please watch like a bunch of like YouTube videos.
Do you want me to show you?
How to do it.
How do we show you? Where's my waist? Here we go. Yes. Okay. So waist. So generally, for most people, so waist is not here, it's not here, it's not where their belly is.
It's not their belly button.
No, because their belly button could be like right down there or right up here. Who knows? They could have an adjustment.
Higher voice, right up there.
Up there. But also, what helps is that the natural concave in your back is also where that waist is too. So for some people who have a really sort of slanty posture, that generally, technical term.
Second intercostal.
Yeah. So very
second intercostal rib.
Yeah. And then the top of your hip bone,
yep.
And then midway point between that. If you can't find it on some people, that's why it's always really good to have some other markers that you can use. So don't go on belly. Other things is to make sure your tape isn't twisted when you're taking it around. You can either get them to hold the tape and they walk around in a circle if you're feeling a bit awkward about giving them a hug. But yeah, waist, massive one.
You had a tape measure, I'd show you, but...
I do have a tape measure. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I am a dietitian. So.
Oh, gross tape measure.
Yeah, I know, right?
Do you want to do it on me?
No, you're the anthropometrist. How do you want to say it?
Yeah.
Waste me away.
Take your jacket off.
Jacket off. Here we go. It's
Can't do this sitting down. This is weird.
Step up. Oh, no, you need to.
Okay. Yeah, like my shoulders will be in there.
Here we go.
So yeah, I would usually do it from the side.
Yeah.
And go around. And then with anthropometry, you want to make sure that you're holding like that, so you're tight enough, but you're making sure they're breathing normally. So just get them talking randomly about stuff. But you want to make sure, if you're looking from the side, then you can see if there's any dips and bows. So if it starts like down here, like if you're from the front, you can't see that. And like for bigger people, like you wouldn't be able to look around the corner. Whereas if you're at the side, you can generally see and then just feel the other side if it's about the same height of what it is on this side. And then, so she's a bit further down than that.
Yeah, it's like, is that my waist?
Yeah, no.
Does it mean taking it wrong?
No, it's not where her waist is. But, so if you go on the second intercostal and then in between, so it's about there. And then
how tight?
Enough pressure, but you don't want to be pulling it in on the skin. So you don't want to have to, don't be doing that where you're just pulling it fully in. It's just enough pressure that the whole tape across the whole body is on it. Again, making sure they're breathing normally, and then you measure it on their exhale. So when they're fully exhaled, don't get them to do big breaths, but just as they're talking normally, you'll feel just a general rise and fall of it. And then if you've got it measured, the moment they exhale, you just do a slight tightening, and then you've got it, pretty much. So it's yeah, obviously very different when you've got all much larger people, and men is usually a lot easier than women. Like Peta's easy because she's fit, but women can have different shapes, a lot different shapes to what men do, so it can be a bit more difficult. Whereas men, you kind of always got this kind of indent. And I've always seen so many dietitians just measure from the belly button, and it pisses me off to no end. It's just like, yes, the belly button is always going to be there, but it's not going to be in the same spot every time. Like, people thinking that doesn't move is silly.
I mean, yes, you're going to have the same consistency because
My bad.
you're taking it all the time. But if you're taking an accurate measure, it's still an inaccurate measure.
Yeah, inaccurate forever, and like you might not actually get the change you want either. Like, yeah. Whereas if you do something like the second intercostal rib, then that's not going to move, hopefully, unless they're in a car accident or have a huge injury.
And on that same note, do you take hips?
I don't. Like, waist-hip ratio is a thing. You could do it for some people. I think with women, you'd probably do it more often than what you would men.
Yeah, so I tend to do it for most of my hourglass women. I will do it for the apple type women as well, merely because it demonstrates how significant their weight gain around their middle actually is. Because a lot of the time they have quite a slim waist. It may only be 90 to 100, and I say that's slim because it's quite slim for most people. But their hips are only like 90 or 95 or even less than that, and it really demonstrates quite a significant risk factor for their chronic disease. So I would take hips a lot, not so much for men, even though you can.
You can, and especially if they're the old pot belly guys, you can get quite a different. But often with that's why the belly button really annoys me, because that'll be like the edge of the pot belly, whereas their waist is actually much higher. So their waist circumference is actually lower than what you're actually saying it is.
I've also taken bust for some women as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I have in the past. Not something I would do all the time. But they've often asked it.
I wouldn't, unless it's an athlete, I'm doing a full profile.
Yeah.
I'm not measuring your bust.
Yeah, I'm just doing it for a change. I've probably done like maybe five busts over the entire 10 years. I'm just saying that I have done it before.
10 years?
Close to. I'm trying to up it, just lift it a little bit. 8 years, 8, 9, 8, I don't know. There. I was on placement for the last
yes,
year.
that counts. So many LinkedIn profiles say it counts.
So does. But yeah, that's generally what I would do. Tyson, obviously, he would take skin folds, etc., because he's doing completely different stuff in general to what we would do for weight loss. But that's about it. If you have any particular scales that measure other things, such as
bioimpedance scales, or if you get them to go do DEXs and all that kind of thing, obviously there's different amounts of variation we have each year, so they can limit some of those things. But body composition analysis through BIA is obviously less invasive and more portable, so you could do that. But skin folds is my go-to for especially the leaner populations, so and athletes. But in terms of how often would I weigh someone, how long is a piece of string? Depends on what their goals are, and like if they're 150 kilos and they need to get down 120 kilos in 4 weeks, I'll be weighing them weekly at minimum. If they're seeing me really often, and how I do things is slightly different to the general population in terms of how frequently I might see people like that.
But if you are seeing people weekly, then definitely weekly. There's definitive change in a week for some people.
Yeah, and especially your interventions play a part as well. So if you just go on cruisy and just looking to stabilise them, then it's stupid to be weighing them weekly, really, if you're not looking to exact change, or if their maintenance is not a difficult thing to achieve. If you've been seeing them the same time, you're just trying to maintain, and you've been seeing them for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then weighing them weekly is not really going to get a measurable change. Whereas if you're seeing someone initially, then you weigh them more often. Just like we'd want to see someone more often early on compared to what we would 6, 12 months down the track. It's just adapted. There's no like, all right, you can only ever do it fortnightly, and then not weekly, not 3 weekly, fortnightly. There's none.
And we're not going in a non-diet space here. We're just
no. It's how often would you weigh someone?